Here are three problems involving the lateral area of a cylinder. Question A. The height of a cylinder is 81 and it has a base with a circumference of 16. So in order to find the total area of a cylinder, we need to know the radius and the height. Those are the only two variables we need. So we do know the height, but we do not know the radius. We don't know the radius, but we do know the circumference. We do know the circumference of the base. So remember, the cylinder looks like this. So we know the circumference of the base or the top. It's the same thing. So if we know the circumference, how can we find the radius? Well, we have to look at this formula over here. These two formulas over here. If we know the circumference, divide by pi, then divide by 2, and that'll give us the radius. So let's do that. Let's take our circumference, which is given, divide by pi, then divide by 2. So the circumference is 16. 16 divided by pi will give me the diameter. Divide that by 2. I have the radius. So my radius is 2.55. Now that I know my radius, I can use my formula for total area. Total area is 2 pi r, which is the circumference, times the height, plus 2 circles. Pi r squared is the area of a circle, and there's 2 of them, one on top, one on the bottom. So I'm just going to recopy that formula here. I know r, I just found it. I had to do a little bit of work to get the r. H is given, and r is the same r we just found. So plug in all the values. 2 times pi times 2.55 times h was 81. So centimeters times centimeters will give me centimeters squared. Remember, this part over here is going to be the circumference, right? Just this part is the circumference. 2 pi r times the height. And then we just multiply by the, add the 2 circles. 2.55 squared times pi times 2. That gives us 129.97 for the lateral. The 2 circles add up to 40.9, and the total area is, just add them up. How did you do on this one? Okay, question B, we're given the height of the cylinder, and we know the area of the base. Okay, so let's look at the formula again. So we know the height, but we don't know the radius. We don't know the radius. But we do know these 2 circles. These are each 65. The area of the base is 65. So we know this. We don't have to calculate it. It's given to us. 65 plus 65. But we don't know the r. We need the r to find the circumference and then multiply by the height. So how can we find the r, the radius, if we know the area? Well, we have to use this formula over here. We have to use this formula over here. This one. Because we know the area divided by pi, take the square root, and that'll give you the radius. That's what I'm going to do over here. That's the formula we need to use. So the area of the base is 65. So 65 divided by pi. So I'll work that out like this. So it's 65 divided by, I'm going to use the pi button, equals. So it's the square root of 20.69. The square root of 20.69 is 4.55. So 4.55 centimeters is the radius. Now we can go back and use this formula. We had to do a little bit of work to find the radius. We had to use this formula. So total area is 2 pi r h. That's circumference times height. And the 2 circles. So 2 pi r times the height. The r we just found. And here it's just 2 times 65 because we're given. We could put the 4.55 here and do 4.55 squared times pi times 2, but it'll give us the same answer. It'll be 130. So this works out to be lateral area 657, 130 for the top and the bottom together, and the total 787.5 centimeters squared. Again, centimeters squared times centimeters squared. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared, and then centimeters squared plus centimeters squared is centimeters squared. So in part C, we're given the height and the lateral area of the cylinder. So we're given the height, so that's fine, but we don't have the radius. But we're given the lateral area and the height. So what formula can I use to help me find the radius? Well, if I look at this formula here, if the lateral area is circumference times height, I can just rearrange the equation and say circumference is lateral area divided by height. I have the lateral area and I have the height. If I divide, I'll get the circumference. And once I have the circumference, I can use this formula to find the radius. Okay, so that'll give me the R. I have the H. Then I could use the total area formula. So first step, let's use this formula to get the circumference. So circumference is lateral area divided by height. We're given the lateral area. It's 132 divided by the height, 25.6. So my circumference of the base is 5.17 centimeters. Now with that circumference, I can use this formula down here. Circumference divided by pi will give me diameter, divided by 2 will give me the radius. Circumference divided by pi divided by 2, 5.17, the one we just found, divided by pi divided by 2. So the radius is 0.823. And now the total area. So it's the lateral area plus the two circles. We're given the lateral area. We don't have to calculate. We don't have to do 2 times pi times r times h. We have it. It's given. Okay? So I'm just going to write that number that's given. Why should I do more work? Why should I risk making a mistake when I have it right here? Plus the two circles. And the radius we found was 0.823. So 0.823 squared times 2 times pi. 4.26 plus 132. There's your answer. How did you do on these three questions?